Good evening everyone, long time no see. Now I'd like to start tonight off with a short poetry recital, which I feel adequately describes the topic we'll be covering today. I'm a trouble starter, punking instigator. I'm the fear addicted, a danger illustrated. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. Today we'll be taking a look at Willow from Don't Starve. Willow is what can only be described as a troubled individual who is believed to be in her late teens to early 20s, and is known as the fire starter due to her penchant for committing arson. She most typically wears a red shirt with a knee-length skirt and is almost never seen without her teddy bear. Her hair is quite distinctive in that it's usually styled into pigtails which curl back on themselves, seemingly without any outside influence. Despite having no known occupation, Willow seems to be adept in an array of different skills, and is said to have been an excellent Girl Scout, despite having never officially joined them. While near enough every individual pulled into the constant has experienced some level of misfortune, Willow's history is far more tragic than most, but still not without its own considerable misadventures. Orphaned as a young child, Willow would be taken into the care of a children's home, where she would spend her formative years. The home staff were heartless, however, and Willow, along with other residents, would find herself neglected and harshly punished for minor infringements, or sometimes even for nothing at all. These punishments would include having personal items confiscated, and even locking the children in a storage cupboard overnight. It can be assumed that Willow, although good-hearted in her own way, and in spite or even defiance of the punishments she may receive, became something of a mischievous child, apparently sneaking out to crash Girl Scout sessions, which she admittedly excelled in. It could have been that she did not actually attend until after she left the children's home, but the ingenuity she would display at times would appear to suggest otherwise. At some unknown point in time, Willow began being haunted by what seems to be the same shadow creatures which inhabit the constant. She found that the only thing that was able to quell the creatures was her teddy bear, Bernie. Upon being attacked by the shadows one night, however, Willow was once more able to drive them back with Bernie's help, but was caught by her wrathful carers, who took the bear and locked her in the storeroom. Again the shadows returned, and now defenseless, Willow scrambled to find anything she could to fight back, apparently coming upon matches, or some other combustible material, which she was able to use to create a fiery explosion, potentially putting to use her Girl Scout skills. The blast successfully drove back the creatures, but it also created a fireball which engulfed her carers and set the children's home ablaze. Uncaring of what she had done, Willow would retrieve her bear and set out into the night, considering the event a fresh start for her. As she was still a child when this incident occurred, it is unknown what happened to her next, or how she survived on her own, but it would seem that the shadow creatures would continue to terrorize her for the next few years, causing her to always keep a lighter handy and set fires whenever she felt scared. At some point it can be assumed the shadow creatures eventually got to her and transported her to the constant, but given that she feels it is another new start, it could be that her life on Earth was not ideal, and she may have even been in trouble with the authorities for her continued acts of arson. Probably the largest question surrounding Willow is why the shadow creatures were haunting her in the first place, where usually it takes some separate interaction with the constant or shadow creatures to gain their attention. While it's mere speculation, it may be likely that Willow's parents befell their fate at the hands of the shadow creatures, and that they may have been researching the constant or even attempt to gain knowledge in the same way as Wilson did. Because of Willow's proximity to the experiments, the shadow creatures may have seen her as being a part of it, and so began pursuing her once they had dealt with her parents. In all, it would appear as though Willow was simply an innocent child, whose parents may have become embroiled in more than they could handle, causing their daughter to pay the price for their deeds. Unlike many in that kind of situation though, Willow became hardened and extremely dangerous, willing to literally burn everything around her to the ground if it means her continued safety. As such, she has been assigned a notoriety of high. Honestly, I think if I had to choose between being terrorized by creatures from a nightmare realm or becoming a pyromaniac, I'd probably do the same, and anyone who says otherwise is either lying or a shadow creature in disguise. Please subscribe for more course content, and don't forget to become a patron to support the course and suggest your own topics. Now, please don't go setting the building alight every time you see your own damn shadow, and have a great day.